What's up, YouTube? This is DBZ439 coming at you with another deck profile. This time it's Kaiju Odd Eyes. Before I start, I'd like to apologize for not posting recently. Ever since the February 2018 ban list, this deck lost Skullcrobat Joker and Maxi, and so I was trying to find the best way to build this deck. But actually today, since the May 2018 ban list is effective, this deck also lost Astrograph, and I was running that with Wavering Eyes, so I had to retool the deck again. So finally I got a build that I like, and the really cool thing is it's a budget build, so like you don't need Electrumite or any other Link monster, for example, for that matter. So I really like this build, and I'm excited to show you how it works. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. So for the main deck, obviously you have to run the triple Arc Pendulum, pretty much the heart and soul of the deck. You always want to see this opening hand to set up your high scale, and it allows you to basically go plus from your deck, a hand or field, so that's really nice, and it's really searchable. So I run 3 copies of Duelist Lines, Spirals, Flame Strike, and Summer's Art, so in most hands you should be able to see it in your opening hand with 5 cards, or if you have to, with 6 cards, and with if you're going second. And this build is actually made to go second because I'm maining the Kaiju engine. But again, this card is the heart and soul of the deck. You always want to see it. Next, for the we have 3 Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, the namesake of the deck. A lot of people have a good point where like Odd Eyes Phantom Dragon is actually better than this card, but I mean, like, Phantom Dragon, you have 2 of, or I run 2 of, so you're gonna see it anyways. And this, like, as a 3 of, is not bad because it fits all like the characteristics of the deck. I mean, it's a dark level 7 dragon. It does double damage, and you can actually trigger Arc Pendulum with the search effect because this pops itself in scale. So that's really nice. So if you pop this with Arc Pendulum in your other scale, you actually get a free summon as well. So that's really nice. So I mean, running 3 of this isn't bad, and I really like the artwork. Next, for the 3 of Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragons, we have 3 Persona Dragon. I like this card a lot because it's your only 1 scale, so it's really important for Performapal Pendulum Sorcerer that I also run. I have a really small Performapal engine, but we'll get into that in a little bit. And I like this card because it allows you to play on your opponent's turn, negating any extra deck monsters that might be summoned. So that's really nice. For the 2 of Pendulum Monsters, I have 2 Odd Eyes Phantom Dragon and the 1 Mirage Dragon. So this is your other high skill in the deck. So if you don't see Arc Pendulum, if you see this, it's okay. It's a really good normal summon, and its monster effect is okay. It allows you to protect stuff if you really need to. And this is really good because Phantom Dragon is really good because in scale it allows you to pump any monster for 1200 as long as you have another Odd Eyes in scale. And its monster effect is really good because you can burn up to 2400 and it really steals games. Alright, so now on to the Performapal engine. So you have 1 Dissolver, 1 Pensork, 2 copies of Odd Eyes Performapal Synchron, and 1 Unicorn. Alright, so let's quickly go through the Performapal engine. This card really lets you get into Odd Eyes Vortex, which I would say is the main power play of the deck. Pendulum Sorcerer is really good because, well, so in my initial build, another thing I had to change was I was running 2 of these because with Skullcrobat, in the main as a 3 of, you really want to see more of these because you can search the Skullcrobat. But since this deck lost Skullcrobat, I cut him from 2 to 1. So, and as you can see, we only have 3 targets, but usually I only search for 1. But the main thing about this card is if you pop an Odd Eyes with Arc Pendulum and Scale, you get to trigger Arc Pendulum. So I just trying to maximize ways to trigger Arc Pendulum's effect. And you can also actually search this off of Duelist Alliance, so that's really nice. So running more than 1, I feel, is unnecessary, and you're running a small engine as is. I like Odd Eyes Synchron at 2 because I really like syncing in the deck. I'm actually running 6 Synchro monsters in the extra deck, so this really opens up Synchro plays. You can really easily get into level 8 synchros in this deck with distance scale, so that's really nice. And level 8 synchros, I feel, are one of the strongest in the extra deck outside of Vortex. And then we have one yeah, Perform Pal Odd Eyes Unicorn. This is the last high skill of the deck. So overall, technically, this deck has 14 high skills if you include the searching spells, because everything else is a low scale. So I wanted to increase the number of high skills in the deck, so I opted to run the Perform Pal Odd Eyes Unicorn, and obviously it's has synergy with the Perform Pal and the Odd Eyes portions of the deck. Okay, that's it for the Pendulum monsters. Let's get on to the non-Pendulum monsters. I have one Odd Eyes Lancer Dragon. This card's really good. I mean, it was good when Masterpiece was still legal, but it's still good now because it allows you to control what gets popped and what doesn't. So it's really important in protecting Arc Pendulum and Scale. And another cool thing is, uh, I won't say cool, but it's a brick of the deck because it's not a level 8, not a level 7, so you can't pendulum summon it. So if you see an opening hand, it's not that great. But I mean, sometimes if I see an opening hand, I try to get rid of it with like Odd Eyes Fusion. Then that's it for the Odd Eyes monsters. For the last of the monsters, since this is a Kaiju build, I'm running the Kaiju package. So the two level 7s, Radiant and Kumungus, and two level 8s, Gamma Seal and Godarla. So the reason I feel the Kaiju engine is really good in this deck is because um, obviously this is a going second deck, so if there's any problematic monsters, you want to get rid of them ASAP, and the Kaijus help you do that. And being able to, since Vortex is the power play of the deck, being able to give your opponent a Kaiju and spinning it back to yourself is really good in terms of card advantage. And these two are level 7, so if you ever need to, you can pendulum summon to your field, so that's really nice. And another cool thing is um, uh, you, I run obviously the Slumber, and like I said, Synchro 8s are really easy, so I can get into Omega really, really easily. You just need like two pendulum monsters and Synchron and Scale. So I can actually, this happens a few times, but I can actually recycle the slumbers, and that kind of comes in clutch sometimes. So that's it for the monster lineup. It's 22 monsters, and for the spells, you run 18, no traps. So the really cool thing about the spells, that like 14 of the 18 spells just search. So we have three spells, Flame Strike. We got three Duelist Alliance. We got three Summoner's Art. Sorry, three Summoners Art. So all of these search Arc Pendulum. This searches Phantom as well. This searches the normal Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon and Pendulum Sorcerer. And then for the field spells, I consider these searchers as well, but they're really important because they help trigger Arc Pendulum effect. So three Sky Iris, two Terraforming. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I open multiples of these, but that's okay because Skyros is really good because it also protects your scales from being triggered. Like if you open a hand with Sky Iris and Arc Pendulum, it's a good hand. So for the non-searchers, I run two Odd Eyes Fusion. I don't really see people run this much, but since I'm building a going second, and I kind of expect my opponent to set up a board with two or more monsters, so this is okay to open. It's really cool because Odd Eyes Lancer can actually pop this in hand to protect your Odd Eyes monsters because it's technically an Odd Eyes card, but you can't set it and pop it with Lancer. But that's really nice. I think 2 is okay. It's usually a side out card going into games 2 and 3. And for last of the spells, we run the board wipes, one Slumber and one Dark Hole. So that's it for the main deck. Let's get on to extra deck before we move on to the side deck. So for extra deck, we run 3 XZs. We got one Odd Eyes Absolute, one Flare Metal, and one Big Eye for the rank 7s. I only run rank 7s. There's not because in my previous build, I actually had room to run like rank 4s, but that's because we had like Skull Crobat and like an extra Perform Pal Pendulum Sorcerer. But I cut all those out. For the Synchros, one Trish, one Ignister. Ignister is really good. Trish I really don't go into, but Ignister is really good because it helps trigger your Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum effect, which is really nice. Um, so for the other eights, we have one Scarlight, one Omega, one Supreme King Dragon Clearwing. I really like this other. It's my other favorite synchro to go into. I mean, I like all my synchros, but this is really good because it can, pop all of your opponent's monsters. Basically a Regeki on summon. So that's really nice for going for game. And for the last synchro, it's one Odd Eyes Meteor Burst. It's only level 7, but the way you make it is you summon Odd Eye Synchron, and then you pull Persona from Scale, and you make this. Most people, like, before the ban list, would run this so they can basically get, like, Gate 0 from Scale and overlay into Odd Eyes Absolute, and then link away to get Vortex. But in this build, you make Vortex like the natural way, not the artificial way, by like fusing with Dissolver, or you fuse with Odd Eyes Fusion. Okay, so that's it for the XZs and the synchros. For the fusions, one Venom, you just send it off of Odd Eyes Fusion. One Starving, well, they're both Venom. This is Odd Eyes Venom Dragon, this is uh, Venom, Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, sorry. You really don't make this, and you only use this to dump off of the Odd Eyes Fusion. One Beast Eyes Pendulum Dragon, just because you can make it with Perform Pal Odd Eyes Unicorn. And for the main card of the deck, I'd say is 3 Vortex Dragon. So you don't go into, or I usually don't go into 3, but I use the third one and the Venom to dump off of the Odd Eyes Fusion. The first one I usually make off of Dissolver, and the second one's usually off the Odd Eyes Fusion. So that's it for the extra deck. Let's go quickly onto the side. I have 3 Leonidas for the Trickster matchup. Ghost Ogre, because Ghost Ogre is Ghost Ogre, hurts a lot of decks. Denko Sekka for the back row heavy decks. Again, for back row heavy decks, double Twin Twister. For the Pendulum matchup, triple Wavering Eyes. And my spiciest tech for the extra side deck is triple Full Force Virus. I really like Full Force because it hits Gokis, Spirals, Trickstars, and even Ultra Guys. So I really like this card going first. So yeah, guys, that's it for my Odd Eyes Kaiju Odd Eyes deck profile. Rather, let me know what you guys think, and I really want to hear suggestions down below. And thanks for watching. Have a nice day.